Who loves ya? Welcome to Challenge It, episode 14, Final Four predictions. It's great to have you back with us here at Challenge It. This is Joe, along with my son Jake, to talk about the Final Four predictions for this weekend. And Jake, man, we've got some great battles coming up over the holiday weekend. So we'll start with the first one. We got our Fighting Illini, our number 3 seed, taking on the big UConn Huskies, the number 2 seed, on Saturday in Indianapolis. And the last time, Jake, that these two teams played, it was all UConn that dominated by their defense. They had a ton of turnovers. They created a lot of turnovers with their an elite defense blocking shots. They had 7 blocks, 7 steals, and they held Illini just to 32% from the field. And, it was all UConn in that first last rematch. They won it 74-61. They beat the Illini by 13 points. But this Illini team is a little different from the team that they faced last time. And first Final Four appearance, Jake, since 2005. This Illini team is playing some of their best basketball right now with their size, their length, and elite shooting. And some say that they have the best player in the tournament with that Keaton Wagler.
Yeah, Wagler's a great player. He's a 6'6" guard, point guard, shooting guard hybrid. He's a top scorer for the Illini right now this year. Some things about his game: he's a really good three-point shooter, gets to the line frequently. One of the highlights for him this year was actually the last game, 25-point game versus Iowa in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four. So, yeah, Wagler's a great player.
Yeah, and what I like Wagler's game, he's not afraid to go underneath in the paint, too, to get some rebounds. He had 10 rebounds against Houston, and I thought that was the game that really kind of opened my eyes that this Illini team can go the distance and win the whole national championship when they had an outstanding performance against the Houston team. So, really like his ability to get down into the paint as well. And there's going to be some really key matchups, though, in this game against the UConn Huskies. I tell you what, it's really about understanding the history between these two teams. These two programs have only met 6 times, with UConn leading the series 4-1, including that dominant win in the Elite Eight on March 30th in 2024. In Boston, where they beat the Illini 77-52, and it pretty much was a home game for the UConn Huskies. They were 90 miles from their campus, and it's ironic how it's going to be different on Saturday, where this could be like a home game for Illinois. They're only 2 hours away from their campus, so it's going to be an exciting game to watch. But I broke it down to a couple things. Really, when you look at the key factors of this matchup, really Illinois, incredible on controlling the boards. They're 27-3 when they win the rebound battle.
Yeah,
which is remarkable. And so when you look at Illinois' ability to control the boards, it's pretty impressive. Right now, they have a total of 174 rebounds in the tournament. They're averaging 43.5 rebounds per game. And David Merkovich is the leading rebounder on their team right now. He's averaging 11 rebounds per contest. And this team is really, really tough on the glass. And I think they could present a lot of problems for UConn. Now, on the flip side of that, they got the big guy on the Huskies, right? Terrace Reed Jr., who's also pretty good on the glass. He's averaging 13.5 rebounds per game, and he opened the tournament with a historic 27 rebound performance against Furman. And then he added 9 against Duke, which isn't, that's
not bad.
It's not bad. Right. So I think when you look at the key factors for Illinois, it's their ability to control the glass on both ends of the court. And for UConn, it's really about their whole offense seems to go through their big guy, Terrace Reed Jr.
Yeah, it does. And he's a great player.
Yep. Yeah, and their defense is how they win games, Jake. And basically, they have a top 15 ranked defense. And but that whole offense, they like to run a lot of different sets on the UConn. Bobby Hurley's just got a tremendous success track record that he brings with him as a head coach. That he's got a ton of experience that he's going to bring into this game. So the stage isn't going to be too big for UConn, but really their offense runs through their big guy down low. So here's my key factors for the game. Illinois' got to control the boards in order to continue to have success in this tournament. UConn, has got to continue to run that offense through Terrace Reed. He's a big problem, and he's got a strong post presence. It's going to make it difficult for Illinois to navigate their offense in the paint because of his presence down low. He's got an unbelievable skill set with his post moves, his shot blocking ability. So Illinois is going to have their hands full with that. Illinois, one of the key factors too, Jake, for Illinois is their ability to stay out of foul trouble, right?
Yeah.
Against a deep UConn team. And we mentioned too that, Illinois hasn't been to the tournament in 25 years, right? So
The Final Four.
the Final Four.
Yeah.
And so, the Final Four in a long time. So, they're mostly starting freshmen. And so, it's really about them being able to handle that stage, their composure. So I think, it's going to be interesting to see the difference between UConn's Final Four experience versus Illinois,
Yeah.
and this has been a long time since they've been there. So,
Yeah.
but both teams are well coached. Illinois, really the key thing for me is when I look at these two teams and their ability to score points, starting with UConn, UConn really hasn't shot the ball too well, right? They had that miraculous comeback against Duke. They only shot 35%. They were 1 from 11 from three-point range. They were only shooting 29% from the three-point range. However, when they opened up against Furman, they were at 49%. So in order for UConn to get back at that level, they're really going to have other guys be involved on their offense besides Terrace Reed Jr. Maybe Mullen, right? When we look at Mullen's big shot in last game, maybe that will be something that kind of carries over into this game in Illinois and giving him a confidence he can be able to be a strong contributor.
Yeah, my keys to the game are a little bit different from yours. My big thing in this matchup is Illinois' three-point ability versus UConn's defense, right? And will Illinois be able to hit the threes? Because it is streaky. When you're relying on the three-point shot for your offense, the majority of your points, it can be on and off. And you've seen that all year with the Illini. It's been streaky and it's been up and down, but when they get hot, they're hot. And they were the top offense in the NCAA this year. So do you want me to give my prediction for this game?
Yeah, just hold off on that, okay? I just want to continue, just real quick, I just want to continue to say some other key factors, and then it goes in line with what you're talking about, though, okay?
Okay.
All right, so really, coming back for Illinois, it's limiting Terrace Reed Jr. That's a key factor for Illinois. Winning the three-point shooting battle. Managing turnovers. Now, Illinois against Iowa, I thought turned the ball over a little bit too much in that first half. Right, and I think they're going to really have to do a better job on setting ball screens for Wagler to get him open and to be able for him to attack inside the paint a little bit more. I think that's going to be a key factor too, as well, is not letting that UConn defense, because I know they're going to double team the ball, and really the Illinois' offense looked a little stagnant against Iowa in that first half. They were too much standing around, not moving without the ball. They can't continue to do that against this UConn defense.
Yeah.
For UConn, it's really about disrupting that Illinois offense, really creating some pressure on the ball and being able to create turnovers and being able to get out in transition, I think is going to be one of their key factors. They're really good at it, and they've had tremendous success in the tournament with their defense and being able to create turnovers, get out in transitions. That's how they that's their game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give my prediction. Okay. I have the Illini winning at 75-72. They're 1.5 to 2.5 point favorites right now. And the three reasons I have them winning this game is their ability to control the glass. The rebound is just tremendous. Their shooting ability, I think they have more firepower on offense than UConn has.
Yeah, they do.
And I think it's going to serve as a home game for them, too. And momentum is a big part of this as well. We can't, alleviate how much of a factor that home crowd feeling has on a team when they're on the court.
Yeah. My prediction for this game, I have the UConn Huskies beating the Illinois Illini 75-73. And the reasons actually kind of go hand in hand with your reasons. Momentum-wise, even though it's closer to Champaign than it is, of course, to UConn, momentum, we're talking about in the tournament, like UConn just came off a miraculous win versus Duke. They kind of feel like this may be destiny, right? Like for us to win this whole thing. So I think they have a lot of momentum and good morale going their way. And you said Illinois has to control the glass. Well, Terrace Reed's a really good rebounder. So I don't know if they're going to be able to control the glass with him on the floor. And then Illinois' reliance on the three-point shot, right? What if that's not falling? It can get ugly quick, especially against UConn's defense. So that's why I have UConn winning this game. I just don't trust Illinois as much as I trust UConn. And Dan Hurley's a great coach. He always has them in the tournament and far in the tournament. So, yeah, I got UConn winning.
Yeah, you bring up some really, really good points that could easily influence me to say, yeah, I could sway UConn's way with the points that you just made. Specifically, the point that you made about what happens if their shooting from the outside is just not clicking, right? We've seen that throughout the tournament. I think when we talk about what other player on Illinois has to step up in order to really provide that offense is Andrei Stojakovic. Okay, he's been averaging 15 points a game in the tournament. To me, he's the guy that I really enjoy watching the most on that Illini team, because when he comes off the bench, it gives that offense a boost, and he can hit you from all. He can score from all points on the court. It's not just his outside shooting. He's not afraid to attack the middle and bring the ball to the hoop. He's very successful at driving to the basket. He's constantly moving without the ball. He does the little things that really matter in a tournament. So I just think that when we talk about Illini's depth, he's the first guy that comes to my mind that really, I think, could play a key factor in providing that boost on the offensive end if the outside shooting's not working for the Fighting Illini.
Yeah, Illinois has a lot more scorers than UConn does, for sure. But one thing that goes against Illinois is that, I don't know, like the moment. This is their first Final Four appearance since 2005, was it?
Yeah.
And you already saw in the Elite Eight in the first half, and I know you alluded to this, was they were just stagnant on the court for offense. Like when the person was in trouble, right? The guard was in trouble. No one was moving without the ball. No one was setting ball screens. No one was cutting to the basket. And so it turned into turnovers very quickly. And then UConn, which is like, they love that. That's kind of like, they don't have a lot of scorers, but they turn that into their offense, where they turn those turnovers into more points. So I just think the matchup favors UConn a little more than it does for Illinois.
That's a great point. And not to sound redundant, but, that when I say, to your point about Illinois' offense looking stagnant and no one's cutting, no one's moving, no one's setting ball screens fast enough before the double team collapses on the ball, that's a huge concern, because we didn't see it against Iowa. I mean, it was more like Wagler's going to take the ball and he's going to just drive to the basket, or he's going to shoot. They have to get everybody involved in that offense.
Yeah, and Iowa
they have to, I'm sorry to cut you, and they have to move the ball quicker.
Yeah.
Right? Against this UConn defense, to your point.
Yeah, earlier in the possession.
Jake.
Yeah. But what I was going to say was Iowa maybe wasn't as experienced enough to take advantage of those turnovers. With UConn, they've been here before. They've been a national champion. They're gonna take advantage quick. I know they may be a young team, but the culture, and Hurley as a very experienced coach, even though he's younger, they're just gonna take advantage of those opportunities more often than the teams that Illinois have played yet.
Yeah, and I'm just assuming that's going to be Hurley's game plan,
Yeah,
right from the tip.
yeah,
We're going to attack
yeah.
on the defense.
Hmm.
So Illinois better be ready for it, and they better be able to counter against that pretty quickly, or else they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, they will.
All right, we got another good one coming up. We got two number one seeds. We got the Arizona Wildcats taking on the number one seed, Michigan Wolverines. And Jake, I'll kick it over to you for this one.
Yeah, a quick breakdown for this matchup is the number one Michigan versus number one Arizona. No Cinderella stories in this matchup. They're both number one seeds. They both have NBA talent on both sides. This kind of feels like the real national championship in a way, right? Where like there may be a little bit of a drop off from Michigan and Arizona to Illinois and UConn. It kind of feels that way, at least talent wise. Michigan's 35-3. Kind of a little bit of their identity is defensive. They have a very physical front court with Mara and Lindeborg. They've actually averaged 6.1 blocks as a team this year per game. And they're going to face Arizona, which coming into this matchup, they're 36-2. They're more of a balanced offense, right? Kind of old school, get their points in the paint. They're not as reliant on the three-point. They've actually only averaged 16 attempts a game this year. And they're similar but different because both teams have deep benches, a lot of great players, a lot of great talent on both sides. But I think the deciding factor in this game is going to be Michigan's defense, right? I already alluded to the front court. Michigan's front court versus Arizona's paint play, that's going to be the story of the game, I think. And I think Michigan's going to have the edge there just because of size. And I know Arizona has a big center, but I like Mara's defense a little more than I like the center's offense. So yeah, I got Michigan winning this game 88 and to 79, and I think that's going to be the story of the game.
Yeah, no, you made some great points about Michigan, especially their two big guys down low, their presence in the paint with Lara and Lindenborg. And so, when I look at this Michigan team, one of the things that I know they pride themselves on is their toughness and their physical play on both ends of the court. They're deep. They got a deep bench. One of the guys that I think could play a key factor in Michigan's success this weekend is Trey McKinney. He pretty much just could be a starter on any other roster, right?
Yeah.
His ability to come off the bench, I think, is going to be vital for the Wolverines to provide some excellent three-point shooting. If he can kind of give him that boost, that could be a big problem for the Wildcats. Right, so I kind of broke it down for key factors for Michigan to be able to win this game. They got to, obviously, to the point we've already been talking about, they got to protect the paint. Okay, they got to protect the paint, avoiding fouls, all right, which I think is going to be really key. I think that they're going to have to really limit Arizona's shooting from the outside. They're really going to have to play tough defense because Arizona has that inside-outside attack that they can go to at any point. And it's pretty fluent for the Wildcats. It's not something that, they're pretty consistent with that offense efficiency. So having some tough defense on the perimeter end for Michigan's going to be key. I think Yaxel Lindenberg is just a phenomenal player. He's actually, last time I checked, could be a lottery
Pick, yeah.
And you could put him at several positions on that court.
Yeah.
And that guy is one of the best players in the tournament, and he can dominate in the paint, rebound effectively.
Yeah.
So I really like his game a lot. I think one of the other keys for the Wolverines is limiting Arizona's ability to score in transition, right? So the Wildcats like to get out in transition. Arizona lives off of that. So the Wolverines are really going to have to, be competitive on the boards, in order to prevent that. So,
yeah, the only thing I would say that is a minus or a negative in Michigan's first team is the streak on offense. Like, they can go on these cold streaks where they just don't score for a few minutes, and that's where they have to rely on their defense more. But maybe when you get farther into the tournament, your weaknesses become more highlighted. So maybe Arizona could take advantage of that and go on runs.
Yeah, and I think where Lindenborg is really going to have because he's actually scored 20 points in 3 consecutive games in this tournament.
Yeah.
So if he can continue to produce 20-point plus game against Arizona, that's going to be huge for him.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and so for the keys, real quickly for Arizona to win it, they got to continue to be a solid offensive rebounding team. Their strength on the offensive glass can really neutralize Michigan's transition game. I think that's going to be one of their keys. Their guard play, Jaden Bradley, Big 12 Player of the Year, has a high basketball IQ, really runs that offense really efficiently. Is known to make the big shot in clutch situations. So I think if they can continue good, solid guard play, that's really going to make a difference for the Wildcats. And then I already mentioned it, the inside-outside attack on their offense. Arizona needs to maintain that. They got the big Mo Krivas. He likes to be called Mo. Mo Krivas, 7'2" center, really could prevent, I don't think it's going to present too much of a problem, but it's going to be interesting matchup with him and Lara down low. And then the depth and the discipline, right? So I think Michigan, we mentioned before, has a lot of depth. They're 8 deep. How does Arizona handle that? Mm-hmm. Right? So, but Jake, a little different outcome. I have Arizona winning it 80-76.
Wow, okay.
So that's my prediction. And
both kind of high-scoring games for us.
Yeah, and I think Arizona's ability to get out and transition, and I think they're just a little bit like you mentioned. Michigan has these lulls on the offensive side.
Yeah.
That is concerning, where you don't see that on Arizona. They're a little bit more. They have better shooting from the outside and the perimeter. They can go down low. I think there's a little bit more consistency that we can look at in the tournament. That's why I give Arizona the edge.
Yeah, if it becomes that kind of game where it becomes more fast-paced, I can definitely see Arizona having the edge and winning this game. But I just believe that Michigan will slow it down and make it more physical and make it more defense versus Arizona's paint offense. And I think Michigan's going to win that matchup. But they could still lose that matchup. Like, I can see Arizona winning that as well.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just a feeling thing for me. And I think Michigan's going to go to the national championship.
And that's why I think this weekend, this Final Four tournament is so exciting to think about, because when you look at both games, it can go either way. I mean, there really isn't much separation between the two where you're going to say, oh, this team's just going to dominate that other team, and they're the strong favorite to win. No. The numbers don't reflect that, right? And so, it could go either way, and it's exciting to think about, Illinois in the national championship against Arizona, right? Or Illinois against Michigan, Big Ten champion.
Yeah.
So, or who knows, UConn. So it could go either way, but I think we're both in agreement, though. When we look at this tournament, out of the 4 teams that are left in this tournament, there are a ton of great players and really solid NBA prospects.
Yeah.
So let's go over that, okay? So the next thing we're going to talk about is your top 5 players in this year's tournament. And if you were a GM, NBA GM, which 5 players would you take to make up your team?
So 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center, right?
Yes.
I made my team a little more like complementing each other, not just like the 2 best guards, I believe, or the 2 best forwards. I made it so like they all complement each other as if they were a real team.
Yep, that kind of same thing.
So for point guard for me, I took Braden Burries from Arizona. I just like his playmaking ability. He's a true point guard, and he can also score on offense. He's a good shooter. He can get to the rim. So I like him at point guard. For shooting guard, I went with a little more scoring. Keaton Wagler from Illinois. I think he's probably the second best scorer left in the tournament. And I just like his ability to make any shot from anywhere in the court and even get to the free throw line. For forwards, I'd really play him small forward, power forward, maybe. Probably more power forward is Pete from Arizona.
Big guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's an athletic wing.
Yep.
good defender. He can get to the rim. He's not a great three-point shooter, but I make up for it with my power forward or small forward, whatever you want to put him, is Yaxel Lindenborg from Michigan, because he's a great scorer. I think those two will complement each other well in the front court. I think at center, I went defense, blocks with Mara from Michigan. I just think this team all works together very well, and I think they'd be a great team.
I like it. I like it. So I kind of did the same. My game plan was a little similar to you. Trying to create a little bit of flexibility, versatility with some of the guys that I selected, especially at the guard position. For point guard, I got Jaden Bradley, high IQ, floor general, who can orchestrate any offense. And I already mentioned it, delivers in clutch moments, right? Big 12 player of the year. And then you got at shooting guard, you can also move him to point guard if you need to. Is that Keaton Wagler, like you mentioned, 6'6", long wingspans, averaging 17.5 points a game, 6.5 rebounds. He's the South Region's most outstanding player. He's been red hot in this tournament, and he's really the player that everybody's really kind of talking about. So I got him at shooting guard, because one of the things that I am a little bit concerned with Wagler is he's a decent ball handler, and we're going to really see it against UConn.
Yeah.
I'm just a little concerned of sometimes he dribbles into trouble too much.
Yeah, he's not an elite ball handler.
He's not an elite ball handler. At the next level, you're really going to need to be, and you got to be quicker with your decisions. But he's only a freshman when we talk about his maturity.
Yeah.
But I like his flexibility to be able to shoot the ball from the outside. Small forward, I went with Andrei Stojakovic, one of my best. I love this guy. I love watching him play. His success of his dad, obviously with Sacramento Kings. He's a little different player from his father. His father is more known for his outside shooting, the threes, where Andre, his son, like I said, he can kind of score from any point on the court. Like I said, he's not afraid to take the ball to the hoop. And I like his game a lot. So 6'7", has good size. He can play defense. Power forward, I'm in agreement with you with Yaxel Lindenborg. Man, 6'9" senior, 7'4" wingspan, can shoot from the outside, has all the ability to make a great player in the NBA. And like I mentioned, consistency is what I see from him, scoring 20 points per game. And he's going to need to do it against Arizona for them to be able to pull it off. So I went a little old school in the center. I don't know if it's my age or what, but I love watching Terrace Reed Jr. because he reminds me of an old, the old style big men down low, right?
Yeah.
He's got good feet. He's a shot blocker. He's kind of, like I said, he's a throwback big man with solid athletic skills. Can dominate in the paint, and I love what he did against Duke. The tape doesn't lie. He was up against a really good team in Duke. Man, he scored 26 points. So I love that guy. I mean, I really think he's tough, and I think you need that in a big man down low. You got to create some fear.
Yeah.
So those are my 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be an exciting weekend, and it's been fun talking about the Final Four tournament and our predictions, and I'm excited about our next show, episode 15. We're going to do a Bears only mock draft, and hope you join us, and thank you for joining our episode 14 here at Challenge It.